Hello everyone. Yes, you read it right. You saw the title. I was almost gonna say goodbye to Canon completely, and in fact I sold my R7. And in this video I'm gonna talk about why I sold it, what is the next camera I bought, and do I still miss my R7. If you're new to the channel, I used to have a Canon EOS R7 from last 1 year, and I had the Canon EF 100-400 Mark II version of the lens. And I had the camera for almost a year. I've taken some of my favorite shots using the R7 and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But of course, not every camera is perfect, and there were some challenges or niggles, you can say, which I didn't like as much, and that's why I decided to get a new camera. The primary reason why I sold the R7 is the issues with the autofocus. And I know if you're coming from a DSLR camera, the autofocus is really good, but there are a few areas where it was not that great. The biggest thing was the autofocus, especially in birds in flight, was not so great. So the subject detection was really good, but it doesn't keep the subject in focus that well. And 2 months ago, there were a lot of ospreys in the park, and I came here back-to-back 3 days, and I took so many shots. And I mean, I had obviously a lot of keepers, but at the same time, it frustrated me a lot that day because it would keep the bird in focus, then it would lose it all of a sudden. I tried different setting, that's why I came back-to-back to try different setting to see if it improves, and the result was same. Out of so many flight sequences, this is the best one I got, and you can still see there are a lot of shots not in focus. I was shooting at 15 FPS using the mechanical shutter. Another thing is, if the light is not ideal, then there are times where the camera struggles to focus on bird's eye, and it shows on the viewfinder that it's tracking the eye or the subject. But if you review those pictures and on your computer later on, you'll find that a lot of shots have soft focus, so it goes back and forth on the bird's eye basically. And if you click, like, let's say 20 pictures, maybe you'll have 3 or 4 or maybe 10 in keepers, but not all of them are in focus, even if the bird is completely still. The second reason why I sold it is the rolling shutter performance in electronic shutter. Now I know it still shoots 15 FPS in mechanical shutter, which is still plenty fast, but it is really loud and there was some shutter shock. I always use the electronic shutter, but like any moving subject will have a lot of warping, or if you pan the camera you'll see a lot of rolling shutter. I had to come to a different location to find a quieter spot. Yeah, I was talking about my third reason, which is just in general reducing the weight of the gear. I was thinking if I could buy a lightweight gear, it would be great because I have an arthritic condition and I don't want to put too much pressure on my joints. Keeping all of these in mind, the first camera came to my thought was the OM1, and I could go either way, OM1 or OM2. The sensor is really fast, so there is no rolling shutter. It has a nice pro capture mode, and if I paired it with 100-400 M-Zuiko lens, it would be a really nice lightweight setup. And even if I got the 300 f4, it would still be under my budget and not heavier than my previous gear. I also considered the Canon R6 Mark II, but the previous lens I had was only 100-400 mm, and I would need to buy a teleconverter, which would add extra weight and length to my setup. So I decided not to buy it, and I thought of buying the RF 100-500 mm lens, but the price is a little too much for my budget, so I decided against it. So I thought, let's sell everything and then I'll decide which way I want to go. And I put my camera and lens both for sale. The lens was sold right away, and I still had my R7, and then I came across a good deal on RF 100-500 mm lens. Someone was selling it on Facebook Marketplace. The price was right, So I decided to buy it because I was thinking of trying that with my R7 till the time I have it, and then whenever I get a good deal on R6 Mark II, I would buy that. And I used that lens with my R7 for almost 2 months, and then eventually I found a really good deal on R6 Mark II. So now I have the RF 100 to 500 mm lens with the R6 Mark II, and so far I've been really enjoying this setup. The autofocus is so much better on this. There is no hunting or pulsing like the R7. Also, in terms of tracking the subject, bird in flight, it has a lot more consistent autofocus, and I feel like it sticks to subject much better than the R7. These sequences were shot using the electronic shutter. The light was not ideal, it was raining, and you can still see R6 Mark II is really good at keeping the bird in focus, and it does pretty good with small birds as well. It also shoots faster in electronic shutter. The R7 used to do 30 FPS versus this one can do 40 FPS, and the buffer is also much better than the R7. Another benefit is the low light performance in general. I shoot manual with auto ISO most of the time, and my highest threshold is set to 12,800, and the files coming out of this is much cleaner than the R7. Now, even though I'm really happy with this setup, I still miss two things from the R7. And the first one, which I miss the most, is the photo video switch. On the R7, it is right here, versus on R6 Mark II, it's on the other side. So going from photo to video was much easier on the R7. You have it in front of your eye. You could just flick the button with your thumb. You don't have to remove your hand from here. I mean, on this one you have to either take off this hand and change the dial, or you'll have to leave the lens from the left hand, and then you'll have to dial it here. So it's a bit cumbersome, and I used to love the switch on the R7. Another thing which I miss from the R7 is the reach. Using this lens, R7 used to give me 800 mm equivalent of focal length. Also, the resolution was a little bit higher, so the files came out much cleaner if the bird was way further. So that is something I definitely miss. But yeah, it's the trade-off I decided to make, and for now I'm really enjoying the setup. Recently I was on a trip to San Diego, and I had a blast taking pictures of hummingbirds in flight using this setup. If you want to watch that video, stay tuned and hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.